the handling of the DCU backlash under James Gunn is a total mess right now. Okay, now as James Gunn gets destroyed by the internet. Now, James Gunn is in the middle of what can be only described as a huge PR nightmare by some. And honestly, James Gunn kind of brought it on himself. You see, the Superman presentation that they gave was one of the most awkward, dragged out, insufferable showcases a lot of people have ever seen. That's what they said, not me. I'm just a messenger. Now we're talking 30 minutes of weird banter, forced jokes, and James Gunn practically treating it like a TED talk about himself. Not Superman, not the story, not even the DCU, just James Gunn. And let me tell you, when you're promoting Superman, you don't want people walking away saying the director is the star of the show. Okay. And that right there is a lot of insane cope. Now, they did show off, a bit more than what got released online. And sure, Krypto looked like a good boy, a good dog, whatever. But here's the thing, this is not Krypto, the Superdog movie. It's Superman. Okay. And the way they stretched this out, this presentation, with actors who look more uncomfortable than excited. I mean, you got Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Holt, and David Corenswell, who's the next Superman. It was cringe, and everything. If people seen everything else that was presented, and this was bottom tier, second only to Sony, and that says a lot about how James Gunn handled the rollout and everything of Superman over at CinemaCon. I was about to say Comic Con. But also, according to people like Chris Gore, what makes this whole fiasco even more frustrating is how the marketing for Superman is being handled. You see, it's not focused on Superman as a symbol of hope, but or what makes this version of Superman different. Nah, apparently it was all about James Gunn all the time. Now, if Superman succeeds, he's the genius who saved DC. But if Superman flops, he's the one who blew it. But at the same time, it's going to be blaming on other people. But you never know. Superman's story matters by how they're promoting it. It's like they're trying to turn James Gunn into the main character of his own cinematic universe. I mean, that right there, as you all know, is tone deaf. It's not just tone deaf, it's also arrogant. Now, as far as the actors are concerned, all they could talk about was how great James Gunn is. I mean, seriously, it was a nonstop praise fest, according to these creators who were there, about the guy. And then there was this quote floating around about James Gunn being the only one who could be an a-hole on set. Like, really? That's the badge of honor now? You get to be rude, and that's supposed to inspire confidence in Superman. I mean, the whole thing, according to the people who were there, just felt fake, performative, like Hollywood trying way too hard to convince us this Superman movie is going to work. And I found out that they're already doing reshoots or stuff. Reshoots after James Gunn himself trashed the idea of reshoots and stuff in the past. He used to say that if you made your movie right the first time, you don't need them. But now, oh, it's just a couple of things. A couple of things. Yeah, so sounds like it's just another meltdown behind the scenes of the Superman movie under the DCU. Now, a lot of people knew of James Gunn back in the Trauma days and stuff. I didn't. And I'll be honest, when James Gunn got canceled a few years ago, I mean, that was just garbage, like most cancelings are. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and pretend that James Gunn is doing a good job because of his record with Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 through 3. Now, I want Superman to succeed. I want the DCU to get its act together, especially with Bob Zaslav or David Zaslav. But with James Gunn running the show, I got some doubts, some serious doubts. Now, the Superman trailer reactions are not all bad. Definitely not like the Snow White woke disaster. And people seem to like Krypto. I don't. So if they're aiming to sell a bunch of dog toys, I mean, congratulations. They might have nailed that part. But are they selling a Superman movie to general audiences at this point? I mean, honestly, I don't think so. But right now, it's just giving off this weird tone, like goofy Superman with Fortress of Solitude robots that feel more like a parody than anything that's epic. Now, I've spoken to people who saw the Superman test screening and stuff. I didn't speak to them, but one person loved it. The other said it felt like a sequel without a first movie. like you've just dropped into a middle of a world with zero context. But remember, James Gunn himself also stated that this wasn't really a reboot or anything. Seems like it to me, but at the same time, it doesn't. Okay, and honestly, that's not necessarily a deal breaker, but sometimes you can pull off that particular approach. But with Superman, you better nail the tone right now. And right now, everything about this feels off. Now, James Gunn is swinging for the fences, no doubt, but is it a home run or just a desperate hack at the ball? The people who go to CinemaCon, I mean, they're the faithful. They want Superman and DC to succeed. So when their reaction is mixed, that should scare the studios, including Gunn himself, because the normies, they're going to be way more skeptical of James Gunn's Superman. And no, the reshoots aren't delaying the July 11th Superman release date. But from what is being talked about, I mean, they're locked in. But what's crazy is how underwhelming the promotion has been so far. You see, Superman didn't even get a Super Bowl spot. Instead, they just promoted the freaking Puppy Bowl. I mean, the Puppy Bowl right there. That's sad right there. And Superman should be front and center at every big cultural event. But no, they're just playing this small ball. The minors, then they pull that weird NBA crossover with Shaq and stuff, David Cornsweat and James Gunn. It felt off, like everything James Gunn touches lately. And then there's also the opening Superman scene on the trailer, where Superman crash lands and it's supposed to be serious, a serious emotional moment, and then boom, Krypto is jumping all over him, biting and wrestling like it's a slapstick comedy. I mean, it's straight up Guardians of the Galaxy vibes and stuff. It worked with that, but I don't think it should work with Superman. But it worked for Marvel. But like I said, this is Superman. If the tone is not right, people are just going to go ahead and check out fast. You see, James Gunn even told a whole emotional story about, his rescue dog Ozu, which honestly just made it feel more like a self insert than anything meaningful and stuff. Like, this is not just therapy session. Okay, this is he's treating this Superman project, this Superman film, the same way other people are treating the other IPs and stuff within Marvel and thing. It's like they're doing these things to go ahead and self insert themselves instead of just going ahead and keep either seeking therapy or keeping these things within their therapy sessions. Okay, and yes, the scene ends with Krypto staying behind as Superman walks off. It might have been got an awe from the crowd, but that's not enough to sell the Superman movie itself. You need more than dog moments. And David Cornsweat, to his credit, was simply the standout at the Q&A session over at CinemaCon. But from what was being reported, he takes it seriously and actually embodies the Superman character, according to some. But here's what a lot of us are worried about. Are we heading for another Henry Cavill situation where there's a great Superman but a lackluster movie? We've seen that show before, and James Gunn might be heading us or leading us back to that point. Now, people are going to be watching every frame of this Superman that was created by James Gunn with a magnifying glass, with every scene, every shot, every line. The robot banter, that's dumb. The jokes are weak, and the pacing of that CinemaCon presentation, I mean, a lot of people said it dragged to the point where it got uncomfortable. Now, at one point, James Gunn even slipped and called it Comic Con, as you all know, and then corrected himself. You could tell the guy was just going through the motions and everything. Understandable, but there's even buzz that Supergirl shows up briefly in Superman before her solo film. It already got leaked, so not exactly a big surprise. I'm trying to look for that myself, but here's what's wild. James Gunn should have waited, held off on announcing everything, because right now the whole Superman rollout has been weak from day one. And remember the awkward video where James Gunn actually rattled off the new DC slate on X? Most of that's already been backtracked, okay? And that's no surprise to me. Now, this whole thing proves that the job is harder than James Gunn thought. Now, being the face of DC isn't just, directing. It's about leadership, consistency, vision. And he thought he could be the next Kevin Feige, or so a lot of people were saying. but forgot that Feige had a whole team and a lot of luck. Now, and right now, this Superman by James Gunn looks like it's teetering on the edge of disaster. Okay, but let's be real. If Superman bombs, it's not just a setback for DC. It's a sign of deeper problems in the superhero genre. And we've already seen Marvel struggle post Endgame and stuff. After Endgame, it went downhill from there. But if James Gunn and the Superman movie can't bring people back to theaters, what will? I mean, this is not just about the film. This is about whether people even care anymore. It's do or die for James Gunn, and it's do or die for Superman. And yeah, I've heard everything about the Superman test screening. It's all over the internet, on even on Reddit. Apparently, Bradley Cooper is Jor-El, which is meh, but it's not a game changer. I mean, maybe the reshoots will shake things up, but as of right now, I'm doubtful because usually the reshoots don't always work out. But there's a 10-minute scene between Lois and Superman, well, Clark Kent, just talking. I mean, 10 straight minutes of dialogue in their apartment. No action, no stakes, just them sitting around chatting. Both people out, and a lot of people who said it was basically a drag, and that's when you go to the bathroom, okay, in theaters. But what's even worse is that all this is happening while what I don't know is a giant eyeball from space is supposedly destroying Metropolis. Like, I mean, pick a tone, James Gunn. Are we doing action? Are we doing quiet drama? Are we doing dog comedy? I mean, Superman is supposed to be epic. It's supposed to feel epic, not scattered. It's a Frankenstein of ideas that might explode in James Gunn's face. And look, I'm just the messenger here. I'm telling you what people are saying out there in the industry, on YouTube, and everywhere else about James Gunn and his take on Superman. Now, you don't have to believe me, but this is not just some hater energy. It's real concern from people, including myself, who want Superman to work. But bottom line is, I want this Superman movie to. And with this level of tone deaf marketing and mixed messaging, James Gunn kind of deserves it. Okay. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. If you enjoy what's sharing this, like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for future notifications, and I'll see you all till the next video. Until then, peace.